what Nkonki has for us. Keep it for. Let's ride together.
Insight Partners Africa is here to help. Our expert-led training classes will give you more confidence to build your brand right here in Join our live beginner-friendly online certification fee for 750 session. Investing in Zambia stocks every Friday morning from 8 hours to 12 hours. Learn how to buy and sell shares on the Lusaka Securities Exchange in Lusaka. Advise companies and make smart investment decisions. Investing in government bonds every Saturday evening from 18 hours to 21 hours. Understand how to invest in government bonds, earn returns, and build long-term wealth. Each 3-hour session is packed with practical strategies, expert insights, and live Q&A to help you invest with confidence. Register and pay online at www.insightpartnersafrica.com or send your payment via Airtel Money to 0977 445 604.
Beautiful, beautiful. Of course, we are back, and of course, last week we had a very interesting program with Nkonki. Nkonkela, right here. Good to see you. Good.
Thank you so much, Chilufia. How are you?
No, good. Life is good.
Life is fantastic. And good morning, listeners and viewers online on YouTube. We already got Belinda Mwanza. Good morning, Belinda. How are you?
Oh,
yeah.
Nice. Okay. And of course, last week we received a very interesting question, Nkonki. I recall. Okay, so for those who just joined us, we are on this very wonderful program where you learn a lot when it comes to financial decisions with our financial expert. That's Nkonki Nkonkela here. Last week I received a message that we received that somebody who has actually asked a question to say, can one invest in a business using a salary advance? That's a very important question. So today, Nkonki, as she always promises to answer people's questions, today she has promised. So Nkonki, let's start from there. Can someone use just that salary advance as a capital in bonds, shares, or unit trust? Is it possible?
So this is a very interesting question because we're talking about a salary advance. And as we already established last week, a salary advance is money that you get ahead of a month. So it's like a payment of future income that you're getting today. That is what a salary advance is. And many companies or employers don't charge you interest on this money. So you could be tempted to think that it is money that you can even invest in things like unit trusts, bonds, or shares. So it's understandable. However, I think I need to be very, very clear here. It's not a smart. You can use the loan to invest, rather the salary advance to invest, but it's not the smartest way of using the salary advance. Like I normally say, every money has got a function that it plays, including your salary advance. There's a role that it needs to play. However, for these reasons, for example, if you consider investing your money in shares, unit trusts, or bonds, you are going to have a mismatch in terms of the returns on these investments, and that might affect your repayment plan with your employers. Most employers give you maybe 3 months to perhaps 6 months to repay back your loan. Within that period, you need to invest in assets that can give you a monthly return that will allow you to afford to repay back this loan. However, investments take a little bit of time for you to start seeing the returns that are significant enough to be able to help you to repay back that salary advance. So there's already a mismatch in terms of the timing when you're required to repay back the salary advance and when you are expected to get the returns from your investments. One underlying factor, Chilufia, is that investments take time for you to actually see the benefit. You will see the benefit, but it takes time, and we cannot match the timing of the returns from investments to the requirement for you to repay back your salary advance with your employer. So it might seem attractive for you to use your salary advance to invest, but the types of investments are what might deter you from actually investing.
Okay, so what do you mean when you say short-term money versus long-term money investing, for the sake of somebody who's listening who wants to be very clear about that?
So this investments like bonds and shares are designed to work over long periods of time. But when you get a salary advance, Chilufia, you'll be required to repay it back within a short period of time. So we are comparing long-term, you're trying to use a short-term income to finance long-term investments. That is where the mismatch is. So for example, if you get a salary advance and you're required to repay back in 3 months, and then you also invest in a unit trust that you are going to that is going to mature in 3 months, maybe the 91-day treasury bill. So you use that salary advance to invest in a 91-day treasury bill. That treasury bill, you only get your income at the end of the 91 days. Meanwhile, your employer is requiring to start repaying back the loan the following month. You need to pay a part payment the following month and another one the following month. But your investment in the treasury bill only matures in 3 months' time. So that is where the mismatch is. And also the return on the treasury bill. When you are using a salary advance to invest, you need to note that your return must be almost 100%. So if you borrowed 2,000 kwacha, you need to ensure that you target making a profit of another 2,000 kwacha for this idea to work. And there are very few investments that give you such kinds of returns. If you invested today in a short-term investment, the treasury bill, which closely matches to maybe your repayment plan a little bit, the maximum you can make from a T-bill, a 91 T-bill, is not very much. It's like 12% yield or return on investment. And as I've said, for this salary advance to really work, you need to make 100% profit on top of that salary advance. So that is where the mismatches come in.
Beautiful, right? So if you're just driving in, it's good. If you're driving on just tuning in on Radio 4, we are here talking about this issue. You need to know this issue. Okay? Now, you mentioned the repayment pressure. Explain that part in just in a simple way. So someone to understand what this, pressure really is when it comes to repayment pressure.
Thank you, Chilufia. So last week I said that when you borrow a salary advance, you're getting part of your future income today. And if you continue the following month with your normal budget, household budget, for example, if you get paid 8,000 kwacha, you get a 2,000 kwacha salary advance. The following month's income is reduced to 6,000 kwacha. But if your expenses continue at 8,000 kwacha, you're going to face pressure, particularly if you even invest that money in a long-term asset where returns are not expected within the shortest period. Then you are going to be under pressure. That is where the pressure comes from. So what is really important is that you need to reduce pressure and use the salary advance for actual emergencies and not tie up that money into long-term investments. However, actually, I did conduct a poll in our Telegram group. We've got a community of smart investors on Telegram. And I asked people whether they've used salary advance to invest, and the results were quite interesting. 14% said yes and it worked. 64% said they've never used the salary advance, and 0% said it didn't work. 22% are considering it. So from the poll results, you can already see that very few people actually look at a salary advance as a way of investing.
Oh
yeah.
Just maybe just to sort out one or two, they don't consider it much, but okay. All right, so we're getting more. And now let's talk about this about safer investments like treasury bills or unity trusts. I'm confused. Just your take on this.
So again, I've touched on the treasury bills. Let's consider the unit trusts, for example. People might think that maybe if I invested in a unit trust and I'm getting monthly disbursements or cash flow from the unit trust, I can manage to repay back the loan. I think the key point here is how much are you getting back from your investment? Is it matching with the repayment amount that is required from your employers? Most likely it will not be. If you look at the 2,000 kwacha salary advance example that I'm giving, if you need to repay it in 3 months' time, approximately you need to make around 600 kwacha in the next 3 months profit. But most investments won't give you that kind of return within a short period of time. If you look at unit trusts, even treasury bills, you might get a 2,000 kwacha. On a 2,000 kwacha, return could range between 50 to 60 kwacha a month, because we are talking about a yield of 20%, 12%, which is an annual yield. And if we divide that by the months, it's not substantial or that significant. So that is that.
All right. So another interesting message here. Before Conky goes, let us let her tell us the best way to utilize our advance.
Oh wow!
Advance. Yeah, interesting question.
That's a very good question. So the best way to use your salary advance is exactly for what it is: emergencies. You need to use the salary advance for real emergencies, and also to stabilize your cash flow. You might already have a very expensive loan from a payday loan company or a Shylock. You can utilize your salary advance because it's not attracting interest to repay back that loan quickly, so that you can stabilize your cash flow and then start saving your own money and start building an emergency fund. So that's how you need to utilize the salary advance to reduce the pressure that you have, emergencies, and repaying back expensive bank loans, so that you can create a stable footing for yourself and start saving money for emergencies for later use.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. We really appreciate this message you brought for us this morning in Conky for guidance. In closing, what are you telling the nation about this issue we've discussed this morning?
So these are just my insights. I don't know, people might know ways that they've used salary advances and it worked for them. I would love to hear from you, and you can drop your comments in our Telegram community. In fact, if you've got any other questions, you're listening, this is what makes this program relatable. So if you've got any questions, you can drop your questions in our Telegram community. You can join the Telegram community by going to www.insightpartnersafrica.com/join. So Insight Partners Africa/join. That will automatically take you to our Telegram group, where you'll find like-minded members that ask questions on investing in unit trust, shares, bonds, and where you can also ask your own questions and we can pick them up and have a discussion live on this program. And also, Chilufia, with the few minutes that we have remaining, I just want to also invite listeners that I do conduct online training classes. On Thursdays, we look at investing in unit trusts. How do you start investing in Zambian unit trusts from 09 to 12 hours? On Fridays, we look at investing in shares from 9 to 12. And on Saturday evening, we look at investing in GRZ bonds. So if you'd like to join any of these classes this week, you can call me on 0977 44 56 04. That's 0977 44 56 04.
All right. We're always happy seeing you in the studio, and we're glad that you always bring us these, insights when it comes to financial decisions. We really appreciate your presence.
Thank you so much, Lucia, and we'll see you next week. Good morning, Zambia.
All the best to you.
Okay.
All right, those Insight Partners there with Conky and Conky. I should be back next week at the same time, and get in touch with her the best way you can. Reach out, and then she will definitely guide. Keep it for